Hey, howdy folks, this is Rampage Reviews NXT for August 31st, 2016. So this is the first real NXT show after TakeOver. As always, the first show after TakeOver is the one taped before, with a lot of fluff with some results interspersed in. This is NXT back at Full Sail, sort of resetting from that pay-per-view. So the first thing we start off with is Samoa Joe's backstage with the Doctor and with William Regal, and to let Regal know that Samoa Joe is not cleared to compete. He has a dislocated jaw, as well as other injuries. So we'll have to wait and figure out what those other injuries are, but he's not cleared to wrestle at this time. From there we get to our first match of the evening, being Tye Dillenger, the Perfect 10, taking on Buddy Murphy. And I will tell you this, Corey Graves loves a Murphy's Law story. Whether Murphy lost his dog, lost his job, locked himself out, missed his flight, was supposed to be at TakeOver, but couldn't be at TakeOver. Corey Graves spins a hell of a tale. I like it. Tye Dillenger is on a roll. He does continue his roll here. He does get the win with the tiebreaker. I enjoyed this match. It was a lot of Tye Dillenger trying to overcome the power advantage of Buddy Murphy. And once again, I give his cartwheel somewhere around like a 7.5, maybe an 8 this week. Like, I know you're the perfect 10, but that is not the perfect cartwheel. From there, we have Tommaso Ciampa backstage being interviewed about Johnny Gargano, who had his leg attacked at TakeOver. Last week on the Cruiserweight Classic, he fought TJ Perkins, and he lost because they continued to focus on his knee 2 shows in a row, which were taped out of sequence, which was still very cool. He's basically talking about how Gargano has heart, he'll be back, at which point the Revival show up, they start pounding his face in, they throw him through a set of doors, and boom, they're in the arena. It's not a pre-taped segment, it's live! The crowd goes ballistic for it. They basically bring Ciampa down to the ring, pound on him, basically beat the ever-loving crap out of Tommaso Ciampa, start cutting a promo, and Ciampa rolls back in the ring, and he's like trying to pull himself up, and they sort of basically shove him down again. And they're like, okay, drop him with the Shatter Machine, top guy's out. I dig it. I think Dash and Dawson of the Revival are amazing. They've grown on me very slowly over probably the past, like, 14, 16 months or so. But man, they have hit their stride, and they are doing what they do best, which is no flips, just fists, and just beating the holy hell out of people. We did get a promo later on that night reminding us of TM61, They Are the Mighty and the Mighty Don't Kneel. So I'm thinking that might be their next feud there. I think TM61 versus the Revival. They had a good match a few weeks ago. I think it was a few weeks ago. And I look forward to more of that. After that we have Steve Cutler, who I think this is his second NXT match at this point that we've seen on the network, taking on Kenneth Crawford, who was my first time seeing him. I enjoyed this match. Cutler, they keep harping on his military background, his aggressive streak, very disciplined, which I dug, except for the fact that he's got these sort of crazy mutton chop sideburn things going on. If you're going to push him as, like, the military super clean cut, the chop sort of brought me out of that. Other than that, I dug the match. I enjoyed both of them. Steve Cutler gets the win on this one. He hits a Fisherman's Michinoku driver, which I don't think I've ever seen before, so that was super rad to see. After that, we have Hideo Itami backstage being interviewed. They ask him about Austin Aries, and he basically goes, well, Austin Aries is injured, but I want to fight him. But if he's injured, well, maybe he shouldn't be in my ring. It was weird. It started off as sort of this very, like, This is, matter of fact, what happened. Then he starts sort of harping on Austin Aries for being hurt. And we haven't had Austin Aries do anything to establish the injury might be overstated or not true. So for our first thing to see Hideo Itami do is basically come out and basically downplay him for being injured was a bit of a weird spot. Someone suggested on Twitter that maybe it's a heel turn for Hideo Itami and we get Hideo Itami taking on Shinsuke Nakamura at some point. That could be very cool to see. From there we have No Way Jose taking on the Curse of Greatness, Angelo Dawkins. Another fun match. I enjoyed it. There are a few little rough spots in the middle, like where they didn't quite seem to connect quite right, or a little bit of hesitation, but overall still a good match. It was a fun match. In the end, No Way Jose does take the win with that sort of clutch slam that he's been doing. After that, we have Andrade Almas backstage being interviewed. Gets interrupted by Austin Aries because Aries still can't get no respect around here. They sit there eating a banana while doing it. And I believe that he forgot Enzo Amore's first rule of eating a banana. You do not make eye contact with another man while you're eating a banana. But, Andrade challenges Aries to a match. But Aries is like, well, I'm sorry, I can't hear you, that's my bad ear. What? Sorry, I gotta go. So I dig that. And if they're playing up Austin Aries faking the deafness, I can't hear you ear injury, that's great. But that promo should have aired before Hideo Itami's. And that would have made more sense. From there, we have Liv Morgan taking on Aliyah. Aliyah with this new strange strappy ring gear. Like, she's got this sort of like black top and sort of the black trunks. But all her legs and her top were wrapped in this like sort of crisscrossed like leather straps. Think like chain link fence, but much thicker straps. And she came with her fist taped as well. She still had like the cat ears, like the tiara thing sort of going on, but she came with a much more aggressive streak. Like Liv Morgan took early control, and then Aliyah basically lefts and rights and sort of pounding and aggressive. And she hits this crazy submission hold that they basically was talking about, like, sort of like a Kimura lock, but she had her legs wrapped around Liv Morgan's face, but her legs and face were like together, like she was like sitting upright, and the leg wrapped around the head she's sort of kicking her with. Pretty brutal setup. In the end, however, Liv Morgan does overcome the odds, does hit this crazy hook kick, very reminiscent of sort of the Booker T hook kick from like the WCW NWO World Tour video game, and does get the win. I thought it was cool. We've established Liv Morgan is on a roll at this point, but at the same time, Aliyah came in, made her mark, and basically said, "I'm no longer I Dream of Jeannie. It's I dream of punching your teeth in." It was a nice little transition. They didn't have to explain much, but they did it really well in the course of that match. From there, we have No Way Jose being interviewed about his win. Gets interrupted by Bobby Roode, who walks up, sort of looks up, looks down, looks at him, he's like, "Nice head," and turns and walks away. Out of context, that's really dirty, but it's a weird comment, a weird sort of segment, but it does get over that Bobby Roode's a jerk, and he's being a jerk to No Way Jose. Then we close out the night with Nakamura. They've been going over a lot of his matches through the course of the evening, who he's faced, his debut, his match with Finn Balor, the match with Sami Zayn, the match with Joe. And basically he comes out and talks about how he wrestled in Japan, how his accomplishments in Japan, he was living his dream, and he came here because he wants to face the very best. And that this title, the NXT title, means more to him than anything else. And at that point, he basically decrees it is the era of strong style. And he basically backs up the entrance ramp, takes his bow, and basically gets out. No one jumps in. We don't have anything set up yet for his next opponent, but I'm sure we'll figure that out next week. So that's this review of NXT. Please like, please subscribe, Please share. Use the hashtag. It's right there, Rampage Reviews. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. And we'll see you next time.